Good morning, Shangam readers. Today is Monday, May 18th. I cannot believe that we are more than halfway through the month of May already. But today we are going to continue our journey with fairy tales. And I'm going to show you how to respond to a fairy tale. Now, I'm going to be reading you another fairy tale today called Jack and the Beanstalk, which I think most of you are familiar with. Just like all other fairy tales, there's lots of different versions out there. This is more the traditional version that you're used to hearing. But I want to show you what you're going to do after you hear the story. And after you hear the story, you are going to complete a 2-page response, either using Jack and the Beanstalk, or you can use any other fairy tale that I've read to you, that maybe your other teachers have read to you, or that you've read at your home or anywhere else. You have the choice to use any fairy tale. There's no set fairy tale that you have to use. Today I'm going to be using Jack and the Beanstalk, but again, just to make that clear, you don't have to use Jack and the Beanstalk. You can use any fairy tale that you've read. And I'm going to show you. I want to show you now what you're going to be doing. So I'm going to shrink myself. And this is the response that you are going to be working on. And I want to show you this first because I think it's good to have an idea of the questions in your mind. So as you're listening to the story or as you're reading a story, you know the things to look for. So the first thing you're going to do after your name is you're going to tell us what fairy tale that you're using. So today I would be putting in Jack and the Beanstalk. Then I'm going to be looking for how does it begin. Remember, fairy tales typically start one of two ways, either long ago or once upon a time. Again, there are exceptions to that rule. So if it doesn't start that way, you're going to write down how your particular fairy tale started. Then you're going to be looking for a good character in the story. And then you are going to pick a character trait to describe that character. Now, if you think back, there are what we call internal and external traits. An internal trait is something that you cannot see. It's how the character acts, how the character responds, how the character feels. Those are your internal traits. The external traits you can use are, how they look. If they're constantly wearing a specific thing, those are external traits that you can see. And you can choose either an external or an internal trait to describe this character. And then you can, what you have to do is then tell us how you know that. How do you know that they're like that? You're also going to be looking for a bad character in the story. Now, I will tell you, with Jack and the Beanstalk, this is something that I myself wrestle with. And you'll see after I read the story, is Jack a good character or is Jack a bad character? And we'll come back to that after I read the story, but I want you to be thinking about that. Same thing, character trait, and then tell us how you know. What in the story tells you that the character is that way. You're also going to be looking for those elements of 7 or 3. Now, I will tell you, if you are going to use Jack and the Beanstalk, they are cleverly hidden in there. So be on the lookout for them. Is magic used? Yes or no? And if it is, how is it used? You're going to be looking for talking animals, royalty, and then here we go. What is the problem of the story? Who solves the problem? And how do they solve it? And the very last thing that you want to be looking for is what is the lesson that can be learned from this tale. Remember, all fairy tales have some sort of lesson. All books have some sort of lesson that the author is teaching us something or teaching the character something. So be on the lookout for that as well. Now, without further ado, I'll go over to our story today, which is Jack and the Beanstalk. And I'm going to disappear. Bye. Jack and his mother had no money and no food. All they had to sell was their cow, which gave them milk. "Take her to the market," said Jack's mother. We need money to buy food to eat." So Jack led the cow to the market. On the way, he met a man. The man offered to buy Jack's cow. "I will trade you these 5 magic beans for her," said the man. "They will grow right up to the sky." Jack could hardly believe his luck. So there's our element of magic. But Jack's mother didn't believe in magic beans. She was very angry. "You sold our cow for 5 beans?" she cried. "Not just any beans, Mother," Jack said. "Magic beans." Jack's mother threw the beans out the window. "There are no such things as magic beans, Jack," said Jack's mother. "Now we haven't any milk or money." Jack went to bed without any supper. In the morning, he found that the man had been right. The beans were magic after all. The beanstalk had grown right up through the clouds, higher than Jack could see. Jack wanted to see how high they went. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed. How many times did he climb? Soon he could not see his own house. Above the clouds was a wonderful land. Jack had never seen anything like it. He decided to visit the richest, grandest house in sight. A great big giant woman was sweeping outside the house. "Good morning, ma'am," said Jack. Jack had not had dinner or breakfast, and he was very hungry. "Have you anything to eat?" Jack asked the woman. The woman was nice. She invited Jack inside. Jack was amazed at how big everything in the house was. The giant's wife gave him bread, milk, and a piece of cheese. How many things did she give him? 3. He sat on the floor to eat. But soon the whole house began to shake. It was the giant. The giant's wife hid Jack inside her oven just in time. "Cook these for me, wife," roared the giant. The giant started to leave the kitchen, but then he stopped and sniffed. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Nonsense, dear," said the giant's wife. "Go wash your hands and I'll make your breakfast." She took Jack from the oven and hid him in the cupboard. There Jack waited. The giant ate and then sat at the table counting his gold. Soon he fell asleep. Jack knew his mother could buy food with the gold. The giant would never miss one bag. Jack took a bag of gold and ran. He raced back down the beanstalk. At the bottom he showed his mother the gold. "See, Mother," said Jack, "I told you the beans were magic." Jack and his mother lived off the gold for months, but one day it ran out. Jack went back up the beanstalk to see what else he could find. The giant's wife was outside her house again. "Please, ma'am," said Jack, who was hungry from his long climb, "may I have some bread?" The woman was nice, and she fed Jack again. Soon the giant returned. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Nonsense, dear," said the giant's wife. "Go wash and I'll make your lunch." When the giant left, the woman hid Jack in the cupboard. After his lunch, the giant put a hen on the table. "Lay," he said. Then the hen laid an egg of gold. Jack knew those golden eggs would buy plenty of food. He waited until the giant had fallen fast asleep. Then Jack took the hen. He climbed down the beanstalk as fast as he could. When he arrived home, he said, "Those magic beans have given us another treasure. This hen lays golden eggs." The hen laid a golden egg every day. Jack and his mother were able to buy all the food they needed. But Jack wanted to see what other wonders waited at the top of the beanstalk. A week later, he climbed up again. He found the giant's wife, and she invited him inside. Again he hid in the cupboard. After the giant ate, a magical golden harp sang a song for him. The giant fell fast asleep. Jack crept out of hiding to see the harp. "Master! Master!" called the magical harp as soon as Jack held it. The giant woke up. Jack was frightened. He ran, still holding the harp. The giant saw him and gave chase. Jack hurried down the beanstalk as fast as he could. "Mother, bring me an axe!" Jack called when he neared the bottom. She met him with an axe. Jack gave the beanstalk a mighty chop. It fell over, and the giant fell with it. Safe at home, Jack knew he would never again visit the giant's house in the clouds. With all their treasures and each other, they lived happily ever after. I'm going to go back to our templates that we're going to be filling in today. Now, I mentioned to you that I was torn if Jack is a good character or a bad character. Part of me thinks that he's a good character because he's helping his mother and him survive, right? But then part of me thinks that he's a bad character because he mentions that the beans provided those things for him and his mother, but those beans didn't really provide them for him. They grew up into the giant's kingdom, and he stole them from the giant, right? He didn't ask if he could have them. He just took them from the giant. So this is where I'm a little torn as to whether Jack is a good character or a bad character. If you decide to use this book, I'm very curious to see what you think and what your reasonings are behind all of this. Also, again, where there are elements of 7 or 3, I gave you a few hints. There's definitely a few elements of 3. There's one that I did not point out, and I'm curious to see, again, if you decide to use this fairy tale to fill out these forms, to see if you picked up on the element of 3 that I didn't point out. It's in there, and if you were listening and paying close attention, you'll see that there is an element of 3 kind of hidden in this story. If you have any questions or need help with this, please reach out to your teacher. We're here to help, and we will be happy to help you with this. Have a wonderful day, Shangam second graders, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.